Hi neighbors, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Neighbours. It is I, Jerri-ellen, and in today's episode I am making Halifax Donair from my home province of Nova Scotia. Yes, I'm making this with a collaboration with one of my best buddy pals, Ian Good. Also, you want to know another one of my best buddy pals named Anadi. Cooking with Anadi is his channel. And a month ago, he had an open collaboration, and one of the themes in his open collaboration was destination. I'll put the exact hashtag here, but somewhere in the title description box, but about destination, like sun destination, or where would you want to go? I know where I want to go. I want to go back to the Maritimes and visit family and friends and go out for Donair. And that's another reason why I'm making this. Halifax Donair, something we grew up with that, anyway, we're quite proud of in Nova Scotia. It is Halifax, as they call it, national dish since 2015. It's, even though we have great lobster and everything, this is our thing. Okay. Anywho, enough talk, Jerry. I grew up on Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia, and we used to go to a place called Island Greek Donair for ours. If you're on the mainland in Halifax, go to King of Donair, because they make an excellent Donair. Food processor. I am going to throw in 4 good-sized cloves of garlic. You can chop with the knife if you don't have a food processor. You don't want to do it this way. Okay. This is like a medium onion. Okay. Reason why I'm putting onion in it is because the meat that I'm going to be using is not 70-30 like they do at the pizza shops there, or 80-20. It's lean, and I want it to keep it from drying up. Okay, so a Donair down home is made with all beef. Okay, it's not made of lamb or anything. It's all beef with some spices. Reason why all beef is when they first started making Donair in the Halifax area, Nova Scotia, it was made with lamb, but the locals at the time, back in the late 60s, early 70s or whatever, didn't like the taste of it. So the owners decided to switch it to beef that would be more familiar with the local people. And they also did not like, at the time, this was at the time, tzatziki sauce. So they came up with a sweet sauce that the locals would like. And I'm gonna make the sweet sauce for this. And I'll show you how it's served up home. Okay, so I put 2 pounds of ground beef in my food processor, because the meat that is used at the shops is double grind meat, and it's fine. So you want this to almost get pasty for it to work, or knead it a lot. I'm gonna add some spices in a second. I'm gonna blend this up. Also, you can use the paddle attachment of a stand mixer. That will work well. I'm gonna add some spices to this, and then I'm gonna blend it a lot more. Okay. So, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, a half a teaspoon of coriander, 2 teaspoons of oregano, half a teaspoon of cayenne, half a teaspoon of red chili flakes, because there is a little bit of spice to this. I'm going to blend this up. I also decided that I'm going to drizzle a little bit of oil in, just like a tablespoon of olive oil. Blend it up some more. Okay, so there's the consistency. Anyhow, I'm gonna get a loaf pan. Okay, neighbors, my stove is not working, so I'm gonna be using my air fryer for this, I have a loaf pan. If my stove was working, I get a sheet pan and I would put foil or parchment paper on it, and I'd roll this out really, really thin, have my oven turned up to 400, and I would just bake that for like 8 minutes and it'll be done. And then I can cut it with a pizza knife when it cools off. But I'm gonna do it in loaf. The only thing with the loaf is that you have to cut it really thin in order for it to taste like it, right? So you need to let it cool off, and you would also have to have a nice sharp knife. So let's do this. Neighbors, you want to pack this in really well because you don't want any like air spots in this. So pack it in there really well, okay? Okay. I can't wait to share the sauce with you because you're going to be looking at me like, what the heck are you doing? It's going to be a head scratcher. But it's all packed in there really, really well. And I'm going to preheat my air fryer to 325, and this is going to run for probably an hour to an hour and 15. Usually takes about an hour in the oven for a meatloaf style of this. So okay, I'm going to make the sauce so that I can refrigerate it with the meat. So it's a sweet sauce, like I said earlier. So if you don't want to have a really sweet sauce because you're diabetic or whatever, you can have this with a tzatziki sauce. So full fat evaporated milk. You need the full fat for this to work. A cup of granulated sugar. Now this has to dissolve the sugar. I'm going to put, now some restaurants put the garlic powder, some don't. I'm putting that, I like the garlic powder. This sauce is good with garlic sticks and garlic knots, and putting on Donair pizza or pizza, you know, if you like. Wait a few minutes, let the sugar float to the bottom again. You can feel it, and then you can whisk it. This is a half teaspoon of garlic powder because there's something that's going to thicken it up. You'll see. Okay, it feels like it's all been dissolved. And I have a quarter of a cup of vinegar. Milk has to be moving for this, neighbors. And you don't want to drizzle it in, you want to pour it in. And now it's thick. Okay. You don't want to whisk it after that point because it'll go thin on you again. See how thick that is? And I'm going to refrigerate this for a few hours. This is you love it or hate it kind of sauce. And most Maritimers love it. So if you're not in the Maritimes and you want to have a Donair, you're welcome. Because there's very few places outside the Maritimes that do it. Smells good, Mom. It does smell good, I guess. Neighbors, there's a certain way to build this. Now, outside of the Maritimes, you might get other toppings on this, and then it's not really the way it's supposed to be. These toppings I'm going to show you are the only toppings you're allowed to have, or supposed to have. You do what you want. I want to slice this thin. Let's get my handy dandy knife. My Cooking with Neighbours knife. And I'm going to steam my pita so that it's nice and pliable. Let's tilt you down. Hopefully this is nice and cold now. And you can warm this up in a pan. You can put a little bit of tiny splash, just like drips of water in a pan, and then put a lid on it and steam it, or you can fry it up a wee little bit. Now it's a little bit spicy, like I say, because the spicy with the sweet sauce is how they have it. Now, if you're putting this in a container, I took the juices off, and you can just put it in a container and pour the juices over it as thin as you can. Get my sauce. Oh yeah, nice and pliable now.
Wrap. Put your slices of Donair meat. I'm going to put a little bit of sauce on now. And just tomato, diced tomato, and diced onion. And lots of sauce.
There you have it. And then they would fold it and wrap it in foil. We'll wrap it up. I'm just going to eat it. The taste of home right there. Oh my gosh. Peace, love, God bless. Give it a try. Like I say, if you don't want to have a sweet sauce, have it with tzatziki, but this is how we have it down home. Take care, everyone. Thank you, Ian, for a wonderful year. Thank you, Anadi, for the inspiration. Don't forget all the hashtags, all the links in the description box. Click them. Love you all.